Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here with my daily video. How are you? It is Thursday and I have a challenge for us today, a little Q&A, and at the end, an update on my wrist, because today is 11 months ago that I fell and broke both of my wrists, and a lot of you started following me on here. So I want to give you a little status on that 11 months later. First are measurements. Measurements, if you look on the calendar today, and this is courtesy of my buddy Becky at Power Tools with Thread, the YouTube channel here. Becky recently moved her studio in her home. I believe they took over the garage, and so she's got like a way more space for her long arm and all of her things that she works on. And she wrote me and said that she couldn't believe how grimy her rulers got. That she had a bunch of rulers that you don't use them that often, right? So they're stored, but they collect dust or just oils from the air or whatever. And she said they were just, to pick them up and move them. She felt them and like, these need to be cleaned. So today, your challenge is to take a look at those rulers that you don't use all the time, and maybe the ones you do use all the time. Did you end up eating chocolate and get some on the ruler, So today is the day that you clean up your rulers. And while you're at it, if you have some that are busted, nicked, not ones you ever use, maybe it's time to go ahead and move those out so that you have space for the things you really do use. I have a bunch of mine in here. So one nice thing about this slider on the koala table is that they're protected, so they're actually underneath the table. Here's my big 20.5-inch ruler that I use for when I'm trimming quilts or even great big blocks. I like to have an 18-inch block or something like that. I will use this great big ruler. It is an amazing ruler. If you don't have one and you're looking for like, what ruler should I really get one of those. The link is down below, and while you're there, would you hit that subscribe button so that we can be friends? Remember these blocks, these extra half square triangles from the Jolly Bar 3 sampler? So they're Halloween blocks. One person wrote, I forget, I didn't write your name down, but she said, well, you could make coasters, like one each could be a coaster, and that would have been a perfect size for a coaster. Let me just fold it over, just fold it in four, so so it would have been just a little bit wider with another border. That'd been a perfect coaster size. But I went ahead and did it as a 4-block, like a little trivet or a big mug rug. I like to put those on the table, like under my thread buckets and things like that, so it just protects the table. Now I had to find a suitable binding, because I thought, oh, I can bind it in black. And I'm like, oh, I can do better than black. So I went looking around and I found this fabric, which I think is super cute. I believe it probably came in in a bundle. I don't even know what fabric line it is, but these oranges are more peachy orange. They're light orange, so I think, here, let's audition it. We'll just put it behind there. So there, yeah, see, I think that's cute. I think that will work. Okay, so that's over there. I did more on the hexies, the old school block of the month. I've got just this round here. So I've been doing 3 a day like I talked about. Yes, this is the only thing, handwork, that I'm doing well. I'm not doing well on the others at all. The sail away, I have got, for the lighthouse, I do have the railing. This is not, and I believe I'm off one position, and that's just too bad. One side of the railing would just be a little bit longer than the other. And so next I'm going to do the cupola, the top part of the lighthouse, and put that behind the railing, because Friday comes the next part. So we'll just have to see how much of that gets done. This has just been a hard month for me to fit in much handwork. I've just seemed to have other things I'm doing, which means I have not gotten any further on the monthly markings, which, that's a sin. I really need to get better at this one. This month's is the bird. So I have the bird here. And he's not that big, and there actually isn't that much border stuff for this month, so I got to get cracking. Today is the 20th. I will get them done. If I don't finish them, what I'm finding is that the schedule that I'm doing for myself is that occasionally here I am better at getting it caught up the next month. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It may not be a true story, but I'm sticking to it. Okay, let's do this Q&A. It is from another Pat. Pat, who had two questions. Basically, the basic thing, and this question comes out onto our community at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan at Facebook. Oh, at least, every other week somebody wants to know, do you use steam or no steam? And do you starch or no starch? Okay. There are lots of opinions on this, and people do what works for them. I will tell you why I do what I do and why I like it. And that's the best I can do as a person, right? I can do me and you do you. And so we will see if something I'm doing speaks to you, and maybe that's why you might want to try it as well. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I am using the Oliso irons, and I love the Oliso irons. This one is plugged in, but it is turned off, but I was using it a bit ago, so it is hot, and I want to be sure I don't burn myself. These are the ones that have little feet that stand up on. And what I found is that, first of all, steam or no steam? First, I love steam. Love, love, love steam. Many years ago, I started buying a better quality iron. I was buying Reliable irons, which are also a wonderful iron. They're very heavy. Reliable irons are very heavy. Then I went to the Oliso when they came out because I like the feet. So the feet, when they come down, and you can, down below, I will link you to some videos I have of talking about the feet. But the feet allow me to not have to pick it up all the time. So it's good for people who don't have a lot of strength. But it also, I found that both the Reliable and the Oliso really do not leak. I mean, yes, you may have one that leaked, but I have not had one that leaked. And I have had many irons in the past since I've been sewing since high school. These just don't leak for me. I've been using Olisos for many years now, and they just don't leak. So I use my steam. I like steam. The reason why a lot of people do not use steam is because their irons leak. There might be other reasons they don't like steam, but the big reason is they don't want to put water in their iron because they use an iron that leaks. So I just buy an iron that doesn't leak. Now there are spray bottles, and people will like to mist their fabric and then use the iron. I've never gotten into that because I really just like the steam. I don't want to have to mess around with another bottle of water. There's a container in the iron that holds the water, and so I'm good. Okay, starch versus no starch. Let me just get my bottle of starch out. Do I have one in here? Yeah. Okay. I starch when I know I'm going to do small patchwork, small pieces. And I will starch the piece of fabric first, like a chunk of fabric, and then after I'll wet it, let it dry, then iron it. Then I will cut my patchwork shapes from the pre-starched big piece of fabric. You do not want to take a strip like this and starch it, because you will distort the size of it. If this is your final size strip, if you starch it now, you will distort it. It won't be the same size. It'll shrink up a little bit, or it will warp. So you want to starch when you have the big piece, and then you cut the strip afterwards. But I only starch if I'm going to do small patchwork. Otherwise, I don't find any reason to starch. It is not a big benefit for me personally. For a lot of people it is. A lot of people love that firmness, that crispness of the fabric for all of their patchwork. And so that is a really personal thing. You need to practice with starching and see what you like, basically. What do you like? Do you like that firmer fabric? That's another reason why a lot of people don't pre-wash, is because often fabric is a little crisper right off the bolt. It's got the sizings in it or whatever from manufacturing, and they like that and keep it. When you wash it, that washes away, and then the fabric is more pliable and limp. So the starch will revive it back up. All right, my friend. If you have been here with me since June 20th, many of you discovered me. I don't know, I've been around a long time, my friend, a long time. But you discovered me when I broke both of my wrists, and I looked a lot like this on June 22nd or something when I came on the video and told you what had happened. I had everything bandaged up and was a crazy mess. So that lasted for, you know, it's a process when you break in. I had broken bones, I had a popped out bone, I had carpal tunnel done at the same time, I had pins and plates put in. So I had, a whole lot of things going on besides, you know, just saying I broke the bones. There was a lot of other things. My status now, I would say like about 5.5 weeks ago, I felt like there was like no improvement going on. The right wrist still is a little sore to bend it. It has never been unsore yet. It's still sore. Nothing horrible, but it could use a little bit more strength training there, but it's pretty good, and I am right-handed, so I thank God for that. This is you know, working the right hand. The left hand, on the other hand, the other side, the other hand is a little bit of a problem. So I went to the doctor, my regular doctor, just to talk to him about this and what to do next. And so basically I have found out that I have arthritis in my knuckles, in most of these knuckles, maybe even some in the thumb area, but all of these knuckles now have arthritis, and so they are swollen, and that is part of the reason why they feel so swollen. The wrist is still somewhat swollen, but it is going down. My strength is a lot less in this hand, and so I will be going back to do more occupational therapy. So I will be making appointments to go back and do more therapy to gain the strength. But the arthritis is something I was basically shocked. I had no idea. My knuckles are swollen, and he's like, yeah, that's arthritis. I'm like, well, I didn't have that before I broke my wrist a year ago. He goes, well, 11 months ago. And he's like, yeah, well, now you do. Now you have arthritis in those knuckles. So now I have something new to research. But I know now I know why it feels the way it does, which has been, I just kept thinking and was being told that it was, you know, my hand was still swollen, and so it was taking a while to come down. It was just like, well, it'll come down eventually. But since it didn't, now I know what's going on. All right, my friend. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for being here for 11 months of my recovery. I have this great t-shirt that I survived 2 broken wrists, and I'm saving it. I'm saving it for when I get the strength back in this left hand. It's sort of my, you know, it's sitting there waiting, and I will wear it. The day I wear it is the day I feel like, yes, I made it to the finish line. So I love you. Mwah. See you online.